The documentary, this is a great watch, a short documentary. And, Jenifer Faison and the high school girl who spoke up, both are extraordinarily brave and just amazing. That's what makes this story so amazing. Spencer Heron is definitely a piece of trash. I actually thought he should have served more time for what he did. The only thing I disagreed with in this documentary are the grown women who knew Spencer was married and still proceeded to sleep with him. We'll get into it. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Ryan Reviews Everything, and we're covering the true crime documentary called Betrayed. This is a pretty quick watch. It's a 3-part documentary. Each episode is like 45 minutes long, and it covers the case of Spencer Heron. Spencer Heron is an Army veteran. He was a school teacher who was teaching videography and how to, operate, video production. He's teaching video production, and he's going to jail for violating a high school student. And what makes this story so scary, I'll say that, is if it wasn't for this, these other stories of him cheating on his wife may have never came out. So once again, I find Jenifer Faison to be brave, as well as just very smart on how she handled such devastating news. And the high school student, her name escapes me right now, but I'll put it in the comments or in this video. Also extraordinarily brave. She actually, in some sense, you could say she's even braver than Jenifer. She actually faced victim blaming for coming out. Like, Spencer just came off like such a great guy that people just assumed that the high school student maybe had like a grudge against him, or it was, the question that you never want to hear if this is your daughter. They were questioning, okay, what did she have on? What was she doing? What did she do to cause this? It was very ugly in terms of this high school student facing, some type of blame, So I don't want to give everything away. Once again, it's a fairly short 3-part series. And once again, I will emphasize, both women in this case are brave. That's Jenifer Faison and the high school student, of course. Spencer Heron is a piece of trash. I would argue that he should have gotten more time behind bars. He was sentenced to 5 years in jail and then 15 years on probation. Once again, you wouldn't get an argument from me if he served more time in jail. So he is currently out and just laying low, doing whatever he's doing. Hopefully, he's not harming anybody else. But the only part that I disagree with in this documentary is actually the grown-ass women who knew Spencer was married and still agreed to have an affair. Those women, I feel like they were trying to just they were trying to use Spencer as a scapegoat. That's the only thing I disagree with this documentary. And, you'd be like, okay, what do you mean? Give me an example. Like, once again, these are like mutual friends of both husband and wife, or Spencer and Jenifer. These are neighbors, maybe old flames who knew that Spencer was married and they didn't care that he was married. These women in this documentary, they would kind of just say stuff like, he was just so charming and so persistent. I couldn't say no, or he just was so manipulative, or, if you saw the text message he sent, he was just so aggressive in trying to just pursue and get what he wants. He was calling me beautiful. How am I supposed to fight that? Like, at no point did these women tell Spencer, according to the documentary, at no point did these women be like, you're married, I should just blow your whole spot up and tell your wife. None of them. I think one of them maybe had like a guilt trip after a few encounters, but at this point, like they've already slept together, and I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think what made her finally feel guilty to stop the affair was like they were having sex in his house, and it was like just set up like too romantically or something. Like candles were blowing and all types of stuff. That's really the only thing. But once again, at no point did any of this woman tell Jenifer about it. Even the woman who felt guilty, and this is a former friend, even the woman who felt guilty and stopped the affair, she still never told Jenifer about it. So that's the only thing I disagreed with. I really felt like they were trying to get sympathy, or they were trying to feel like that they were victims as well to some form or fashion. But it's like, come on, it takes two people to cheat. You knew he was married, and you still went along with it. You can't really, now this documentary came out, and now you're playing the victim too. Like that, his game can't be that great where you were just like, yeah, I know what it is, and I'm still gonna sleep with him. Like, it takes two people to cheat, and you were down to do it. But the genius behind Jenifer's approach to this devastating situation is she actually creates a podcast where she's interviewing some of the women who slept with her husband. And when you see some of the text messages and things like that in this documentary, I feel like that this guy definitely had like some type of sexual addiction, some type of sex addict problem was really going on there. But I'm giving away too much already. Great documentary. Again, I feel like Jenifer and the high school student, extraordinarily brave. I really felt like Jenifer really, trying to make some type of a positive out of such of a nasty situation by starting a podcast, which has grown legs and, gained popularity and so forth. And yeah, man, I highly recommend you check it out. And hey, love it or hate it, that's my review. Peace.